The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Welcome to The Drive with A.D. Raff and Ahman Green. Former Husker football national champion, speaker, and author, Aaron Davis.
Nebraska will win the national championship. The Cornhuskers beat Miami. It is history, 13-0, and bring that trophy back to Lincoln.
Former Arena Football League quarterback, former head coach of the Capital City Crush, and guru of Husker football history, Chris Raff.
25 straight wins for the Cornhuskers. One of the most dominating stretches in college football history.
We may have seen one of the best teams in the history of college football tonight.
12-year NFL veteran.
He's got some speed to go with strength.
Huskers and Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer.
Shovel pass to Green into Vikings territory. Finally brought down.
And University of Nebraska eSports coach, Ahman Green.
Look at Green all by himself. 20, 10, touchdown.
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good morning, everybody. This is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket. It is Wednesday. We have the beautiful Nick Sainert in studio, back from Omaha. Looking good, Swim. Looking good.
Raffy, so I'm glad to be back. It's I missed you guys yesterday. I appreciate Bach holding down the fort yesterday. Bach's going to be up in Omaha to kick things off, though, today for the College World Series. It's going to be a good day. I mean, I know we have College World Series planned for later in the show. We have plenty of stuff to get to early on in the show. But, Raff, man, the College World Series to this point has not been disappointing. And it just confirms that this is my favorite time of the year. As the baseball junkie I am, this is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, this, without a doubt, is the most College World Series that I've ever watched in my entire life. I mean, I've always watched a lot of it, but this year, I mean, I watched pretty much the game started yesterday while we were still on the radio, the one that was suspended. And then I joined in and I watched the Louisville game, which that was crazy, Louisville, Oregon State. And then I went on and watched Arkansas last night. So, I mean, it was a full day of baseball.
Which that Louisville game was fascinating because, frankly, I did not think that Louisville was going to be able to beat Oregon State. I thought Oregon State, even when throughout the middle innings of the game, when Louisville was up by 2-3 runs, I honestly thought that, you know what, at the end of the day, I still think Oregon State has hit over 105 home runs as a team this season. Also the ball at Charles Schwab Field yesterday was uncharacteristically flying out. The wind was somewhat pushing it out to left center field a little bit. And so you sat there and you thought, okay, maybe as a team like Oregon State that can hit the ball around the yard a little bit more so than Louisville, then you felt like, okay, you know what, there's a chance that they can, they're a bloop and a blast away from making this game really interesting. And then obviously in the top of the ninth inning, a little bit of drama happens and they end up tying the game. But once again, like this is the way baseball works, and it's no matter what level you're at, this reigns true to whether it's high school or college or even professional. But we're seeing it right now in the College World Series on the biggest stage, where number one, if you cannot manufacture and drive runners in, you will not be successful. You just won't. There was a moment yesterday, Oregon State was 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. There's been multiple times where that type of statistic has popped up on the screen, and you have the team losing by 2-3 runs, and you're saying if you get 2 hits, that changes. Like you're either tied or you're in the lead there. So that's certainly true. But and last night there was a moment with nobody out in the top of the ninth inning, games tied at 6 apiece between Louisville and Oregon State. And Oregon State has runners on second and third with nobody out. Yep. And you have a couple of really bad at-bats from some guys in some key spots in that Oregon State lineup. You have a guy that it goes up there and he flails at a breaking ball that started outside and finished even farther outside. I mean, at that point, the mentality's got to shift as a hitter, Raff, of I need to hit something to the right side. I need to get something deep enough in the outfield. I just need to figure out a way to get this guy home from 90 feet away.
Yep, true. I thought I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, they've got to get a run across the plate here, and it just wasn't. So I got a question for you, and we were talking about this yesterday. It's kind of a little bit on the beaten path, but the one thing I'm noticing with these pitchers is the velocity.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think that? Is it just that I try to figure it out. You look back at we're talking about the 80s and the 90s. You had like Roger Clemens, but even he was throwing like mid to low 90s. And now you got these guys that are touching 97, 98, 100. What is causing the velocity?
Well, it's ridiculous because actually I tweeted this out the other day it was with Arkansas and Gage Wood. And when he hit his no-hitter, or when he threw his no-hitter, that the name of it's indicative of where the game is at right now. Velocity. And what I mean by that is his first pitch of the game, Gage Wood's first pitch of the game the other day was 97 miles per hour. So fastball on the top shelf, 97 miles an hour. How did he finish the game? On pitch 119, it was 97 miles per hour. Now you can contribute some of that to adrenaline, right? Like in the moment, your arm you're just going out there, not going through the motions, but you have so much adrenaline built up in the moment you're in it. And so you don't really notice what you're doing. Right. But I think I've talked about this from a professional baseball standpoint. Like you look at the evolutions, because you mentioned, right? Like I remember, and I've done like research on guys like Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux. Like those are the two big ones of my time growing up that I remember, okay, it's like locate. And now it's shifted in what organizations are looking for, but then also what they're asking guys to do. And I always use the example of Aroldis Chapman. And I've talked about this with you guys on this show, but I always like to bring it up as well, of the way, this is the perfect example of how the game has evolved. Aroldis Chapman started his career and really got notable in the majors with his ability to come in for 3 outs, and that was it, right? Yep. Like Aroldis, come in, you can pump 102 a few times, you're going to be sitting around triple digits consistently. Maybe you get a couple that are in there. We're freaking out when it's 101, 102 off the left side from Aroldis Chapman, and hitters weren't able to adjust, and that's what made Aroldis, when he was with the Cincinnati Reds, so good. But then it shifted to where then you were saying, okay, can we find guys that can do this for 6 outs and bring them in the 8th inning? And then can we find guys that now can do that in the middle innings in relief appearances for 3 innings of work. And so we've continued to push the envelope, the organizations have. And now you look at starters. Paul Skeens is a perfect example. Paul Skeens, whether he was in the college at the college level or now with Pittsburgh, in his major league debut, he had 7 pitches that registered over 102 miles per hour. And so, like, when you look at this evolution, number one, organizations have continued to push the envelope, but there's also articles out there with interviews from current and former major league pitchers that have said, look, we understand that there's risks, but we want a job. And the way that we have job security is by running red, is what they refer to it as. And they said that's how we know we have to operate if we want to be in the majors.
Yeah, and it's just always amazes me too that these pitchers that are coming back after Tommy John surgery, and a lot of them have more velocity than before they were injured. It's crazy. Like I believe, wasn't it? I thought it was Spencer Schwellenbach. He wasn't ready for Tommy, or when he had Tommy John, didn't he have it before? Because didn't they kind of project it?
Yeah, so a lot of these guys will go in and whether teams stay away from guys because of potential arm injuries and they're concerned about their arms or the way the throwing motion, like there's a lot that goes into it. For example, Kumar Rocker is a guy that shined at the college level. College World Series fans will remember Kumar Rocker as part of that Vanderbilt Commodore team. And he excelled at the college level, had some really good strikeout stuff as well. And he was also paired with a really good pitching staff that had like Jack Leiter and there was a couple of other, notable future major league draft picks on that pitching staff. However, when you look at Kumar Rocker, he was draft eligible. He ends up getting selected. I think it was the seventh overall pick at one time by the New York Mets. And then the New York Mets brought him in for physicals, and they brought him in to kind of get tested on everything. And they realized that, okay, there's some instability in that arm, in that shoulder, in that elbow, and they ended up not signing him. So then he went to go play independent ball. He played in the American Association. Kumar Rocker did for 1 year, and out on the East Coast, same league as the Lincoln Salt Dogs, ends up going back into the draft the next year, and the Texas Rangers ended up selecting him. And so he's still in the Texas Rangers organization as it speaks. But like there's a lot that goes into decision making on whether or not teams want to draft guys. Spencer Schwellenbach was somebody that they knew that they felt like, okay, maybe we can extend him. You remember in Lincoln, he was a closer. He was a relief guy. He was somebody that they would bring in from shortstop and close out the game, whether it was six outs that they needed from Schwelly or even just 3. And then they said, okay, maybe we can expand him, but we need to make sure that arm, that right side is stable enough. And it wasn't that they immediately put him under the knife, but it was pretty close after that. They said, because you can actually find ways to strengthen things. And like you said, it's such a common, maybe this is a bad thing, such a common procedure now for baseball players that they have enough data, like a torn ACL in football or in basketball or whatever it might be. They have enough data to kind of project how guys could come back after that injury.
Yeah, that's wild. And then Nick, I got the biggest question of the day for you and for the listeners. How many times is okay for them to show the parents on television?
Are you saying they do it too much?
Did you watch the Louisville game?
I did. I was locked in for both games yesterday.
Every single pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, it got to the point where I think the mom was getting bored of it. She stuck her tongue out at the camera the one time. I mean, or she was like, this is so much taken, and then she gave the, but it felt like after every pitch. And then I think it was, I forgot the Arkansas game. They were Gage Woods' parents. They were showing them over and over again.
Let's be honest, that was history in the making. So you have to expect what I find funny was when they pan out from him and you can see the cameraman and he's just kneeling down on the step, like directly in front of him. And I go, man, like you guys just don't, number one, don't hide it. Number two, you're just telling this guy, okay, we just need you to kneel down in the aisle for the next 15 minutes or so. I don't know. Like I think it's cool. I think it from a intimacy standpoint, I think it adds to that piece of it. Like I think we've talked about the corporate shift that baseball has taken on in terms of tickets and the way that Charles Schwab Field feels in comparison to like Rosenblatt and things like that. But they've done a really good job, ESPN has, of, number one, making it, I don't want to say accessible because that's not what I'm getting at, but it makes it feel intimate, whether you're watching on TV or you're in the arena or in the vicinity of it. It feels really intimate, which I think is important for college baseball. And then also you have a couple of teams of broadcasters that really know what they're talking about. Ben McDonald and that crew of Mike Monaco, who, by the way, called the Nebraska Bowl game last year. He does a lot of just multiple things. He does tennis for ESPN. He does football for ESPN. He's kind of a jack of all trades for them, kind of a utility knife. Mike Monaco, Chris Burke, and then Ben McDonald. I personally think that is the best college baseball crew that's there. Kyle Peterson is a very familiar voice for College World Series action, and he knows the teams, knows the personnel, knows history as well as anybody in guys that, you know, watch and talk about the sport. But the chemistry that the three guys of Berkey, Chris Burke, Mike Monaco, and Ben McDonald have, I personally think they're more enjoyable than like listening to Carl Ravitch, in all honesty.
Really? Huh. Yeah, no, I've had no complaints with them. I mean, I've listened some. I mean, there's some that, you know, really grab your attention and you're like, oh yeah, they're really good, you know, and I've had no complaints with any of the guys that have been in the booth. Has it felt, I don't know, to you, like through the television, it feels like this CWS has been more electric than past? Does it feel that way to you this year? Or?
Well, I think the way that the teams operate is different. And I guess to dive deeper on that, like this LSU Arkansas game tonight is going to be a perfect example. What I mean by that is, remember LSU a couple of years ago when they won the championship in 2023, they had, his nickname was Tommy Tanks. It was Tommy White, who was a transfer from NC State. They had Tommy Tanks on their team playing third base, who hit as many home runs as anybody in the country that year. Set the record in his freshman year of the ACC for most home runs by a true freshman as well, while he was at NC State before he transferred to LSU. They had Dylan Cruz, who was going to be a top 5, Major League Baseball draft pick. So you looked around at, and I'm also missing the shortstop, but they had a really good shortstop, and it's not Bregman, but it's obviously because Bregman was way before that. But what I'm saying is that the way that they scored runs was through the long ball. LSU, if you watch LSU, sure, they have the ability to hit home runs, but I think that it is as pure as baseball can get this week so far, because you don't have a team that has hundreds and hundreds of home runs on the year, and that's not their primary source of run production. It is. Look at the way Arkansas beat not UCLA. Well, maybe it might have been UCLA. Who did they beat two nights ago? Because I'm blanking on it all. In the elimination game. LSU beat. Let's see. LSU beat Arkansas. I can't think of who they're playing. Text line will be able to help us out on that. In the first elimination game.
Oh, it was Murray State.
Thank you, no? Murray State. Yeah. Yes, it was Murray State. Thank you. So in that first elimination game against Murray State, Arkansas, they stole more bases in the College World Series in that elimination game than they did in any single game in the entire season. Like teams are looking at this going, okay, a big ballpark. We don't necessarily hit home run after home run like maybe SEC teams have in the past. The rosters are constructed and built a little bit different. And so they got to figure out ways to create havoc on the base paths, to try to put pressure on the opponents. And Arkansas did that 2 days ago when they, in their first elimination game against Murray State. And that shows the ability to switch up game plans by the coaching staff. I just think it's been exceptionally high level baseball over the course of this last week or so at the College World Series. And it's been really, really fun, not only for the people that maybe know a little bit more about the intricacies of the game, but then also just the casualists, because for the most part, there's been drama, but it's also been competitive baseball games. Yeah. You haven't had a blowout yet.
And then the question I also have for you is Livy Dunn going to be at the rest of the games, or was she just there for the first weekend?
I would imagine so. I would imagine that at any LSU game that you have one of their biggest supporters there, and Todd Graves, the owner of Raising Cane's, because the entire time, and you can only see this if you're in Omaha, the entire time that LSU plays, there's a plane flying a Raising Cane's banner around the entire. But it's funny because I'm just sitting there going, all right, this plane is just doing circle after circle around all of downtown Omaha. And at some point, you just got to get bored up there in the sky doing the same exact thing over and over. But I mean, this, as we're up against the clock here in a couple of minutes, one last thing I will say just about, and this is quite indicative of just baseball in general, and sports. Like, I think this is true for football and basketball and every single sport. But especially we saw it play out yesterday in that Oregon State Louisville game. The shortstop for Louisville, he makes that crucial error at shortstop, and he's been one of the best defensive shortstops in college baseball this year. Just 4 errors all season long. Yesterday was his 5th error of the year. He has that ball kind of go off to the side of his glove. He tried to work around it and create a direct line to first base to make it easier on himself. However, it goes into left center field. Well, then what happens next? Guess what? The ball finds you. You have opportunities, and he ends up leading off the bottom of the 9th. How does he get on base? Just a discipline at bat. He locked back in. He drew a walk, and then he ends up scoring the game-winning run. Like that gives you the perfect example, and it played out in real time on the biggest stage of college baseball, to where, number one, the ball's always going to find you again. You're always going to have another chance, but it speaks to you have to have the ability to just flush whatever happened in the last half inning, because chances are in the next half inning, you're going to get another crack at it.
Yep, no, I agree. That was wild the way that took place, because remember, he had that great play earlier in the game, the diving jump up, throw him out, and I was already, my eyes were already on him, and then when that happened, I was like, oh my goodness. And then the way he was able to to stay in the game, like you said, and get that game scoring run was huge for Louisville.
Well, Raff, let's go ahead and just put a pin there, because I know we have more to talk about with Arkansas LSU. That's the big one tonight. Obviously, you have Coastal Carolina and Louisville. That I know a lot of folks are rooting for the Chanticleers in that one. The Coastal head coach made it very clear to all of College World Series fan base, they are the Chanticleers, not the Chanticleers. They are the Chanticleers. And so the Chants go up against the Cardinals here later today. That's a 1 p.m. first pitch, and then obviously Arkansas LSU, so we can kind of preview those in the 10 o'clock hour. However, there was a lot of things that happened over the last couple of days in the sports world, even in the WNBA, the face of the league, Caitlin Clark. Obviously, a brawl happened last night involving her, Sophie Cunningham, that whole thing. You have another year where a hockey team from Canada makes the Stanley Cup Finals, but does not win it. That's 33 years in a row now, if I'm not mistaken, that the Stanley Cup has stayed in the United States. And then on top of that, 4 of the last 6 have come from the state of Florida. And so there's a couple of just interesting factoids there. But we have so much more to get to. Obviously, Nebraska also a decommitment, a notable decommitment that we will get to later in the show. So I feel like right now, probably a good time to put a pin on baseball. We don't want anybody falling asleep behind the wheel. We know that's been threatened to us in the last couple of days. So with that, Raffi, Ahman will also join us. He just hopped in, so Ahman will be here when we come back. So go ahead and send us to break, Raffi.
All right, well, thought break, the drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers, as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, Go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it. And choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Play ball! Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it. And choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
You're looking for a cast for today. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies. National high near 82. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Low around 62. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Becker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red!
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Early break.
is
So
good.
you're getting coffeeed up at the mill?
Yeah, so I walk over to people.
Would you be willing to come on every day? Is there something that you'd be able to do?
You know what? Actually, I got a lot of things to say. You know,
If you please every Friday, at least before a game, Coach, we'd love to have you. It'd be a riot.
With Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to The Drive with AD, Raff, and Ahman Gray on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, everybody, we're back again. This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket. It is Wednesday, halfway through the week. Last night, it was almost fight night in the WNBA.
It was fight night in WNBA.
I will say this, guys, and if anybody doesn't know what happened, it was the Indiana Fever, and they obviously just got the addition of Sophie Cunningham, and on top of that, obviously have Caitlin Clark, who is the face of the WNBA. Well, in one sequence, Caitlin Clark got shoved down, and then obviously then in the next sequence, it was kind of not an unintentional, intentional foul. Not a whole lot of play on the ball there,
At all.
And basically it just created this entire scrum on the floor. I would say this, guys, and AG, I want to get your thoughts on this because we have a lot of conversations regarding like faces of the league.
Mm-hmm.
And a big thing that I kind of feel like with the WNBA, with as much as they have struggled in gaining, I don't want to say listenership or viewership, but obviously the numbers and the statistics speak for themselves prior to Caitlin Clark and now post Caitlin Clark. And that the WNBA has to be very careful on how they handle this because they need to protect the face of their league, and that's Caitlin Clark.
I mean, they need to do that too. They need to protect her, but it's a part of the game, unfortunately, that stars go through. It's nothing that the league, I would say, other than doing what is need to be given out. So for the intentional, for the I think that she got poked in the eye. Grant those as what it is, but don't go over the top with it.
Sure.
You know, unless you want to send a message. But you send that message, the player's going to react to, you may react to. So you don't want to do that as leadership, as a commissioner or people or governing bodies on laying down the law. So when you have players that are top of the league, you know, and are actually right now becoming successful, players are going to they're going to take their shots at them. And one is for that player to handle it on their own. We've seen, you know, we go back in the day before the WNBA, Michael Jordan was that person in the NBA. And so Detroit Pistons made it a point to bring the pain to him. And what'd he do? He didn't complain about it. He took the hits and then he went to the weight room. He said, "Look, what? They're going to beat me up. I got to get stronger." And so not saying that Caitlin has to do that, but just punish the crime that happened, right? Don't go over the top with it. That's what I hope the WNBA league does not do, because then you'll create more problems. You just want to keep it regular. You know, it's something that you need to punish it evenly, you know, or fairly. I'll say that, punish it fairly before you go, you know, way over the top, suspend people and all that stuff. Then you're gonna have a problem because you know there'll be other players around the league that'll be like, you know, ready to give her a hip check or anything coming down the lane. And then that's going to make it harder for Caitlin and her teammates and what they got to do. And they're playing well right now. So I would say, like I said, to the governing body, keep it fairly. Don't go over the top with any type of punishment.
It's so interesting, Raff, because you look at this and there's been a lot more eyeballs on the league over the last couple of years. And a big reason of that is more than just Caitlin Clark, right? And I would urge the Husker fans out there that despise Caitlin Clark for what she did in the Iowa Hawkeyes uniform to just take a step back and a breath. Because when you look at what she's been able to do for the league in terms of increased exposure, it's been really, really good. And the Indiana Fever are trying to obviously win a championship here. But I think that when you look at the other players, right? Obviously, Angel Reese plays a factor into this too. And this like budding rivalry between that started in college between LSU and Iowa, this budding rivalry between Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith was on that team at that time. and obviously Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes, has now transcended, and it's now peaked into the WNBA at the professional level, Raff, and it's making it it's giving fans a reason to say, okay, I'm going to start just kind of paying attention to this, and then once they see the product, hopefully the product is good enough, from an individual, thought standpoint, to say, okay, I'm going to keep on watching this, Raff.
No, and that's where they're at. That's what I keep on saying is, like, I understand there's a lot of people, there's dislike for Caitlin Clark. I mean, she has a way about her. She can get under a person's skin, but there's dislike, from the college years and there's like that. However, if you look at the ratings and you look at the ticket sales, when she's in the lineup and she's playing, there's a huge difference. So these girls are going to have to maybe put their personal vendettas away, because what Caitlin Clark is going to do for you is make you more money than what you've ever seen in your life, because eventually there's going to be new TV deals. You're going to make money off ticket sales, and it's stuff that they've got to look at that, because say what you want about Caitlin Clark, she's the one that draws these eyes to the league. You look back at the Michael Jordan years. I understand Michael Jordan paid his dues with the Detroit Pistons. However, if you look back at the NBA, then
and around the league, really, not just the Pistons, but that was just one point, though. Yep.
Oh no, but I get that. But the NBA was pretty solid at that point when Michael came into the league. You had Larry Bird and Magic Johnson that had pretty much solidified the NBA as a something to watch.
Yeah, they resurrected it. Them two guys resurrected it for sure.
And so with Michael, if Larry and Magic had been there and Michael was like the face of the league, you probably wouldn't have seen just the utter chaos that you saw with the Pistons, because at the end of the day, everybody's like, hey, there's money on the line. If they injure Caitlin Clark, if she goes up and say she blows out a knee or she does something like that, the NBA or the WNBA is in trouble, because they know that she's their cash cow. And the players, I don't want them to quit playing physical. I want them to play basketball. But if it's just going to be blatant, like last night she got poked and she came back, and the one girl came up and chest bumped her, and you're just like, and then at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark gets the technical, and that's what's confusing about the situation.
To bring some statistics into this conversation, because I think this is important. You might remember, and maybe people didn't even pay attention, because I don't remember actually hearing about this in real time. The WNBA, the players actually opted out of their collective bargaining agreement. It was initially set to expire in 2027. Instead, now they're going to have to structure a new CBA at the end of the 2025 season, because after the 2024 season, when Caitlin Clark was a rookie, all these other rookies are going, well, wait a minute. We understand now that whether it's because of me or whether it's because of Caitlin Clark, there's a lot more revenue to be made in this. And we're not getting our fair share of what's deserved for being a part of it. Now, obviously, Caitlin Clark has endorsement deals, and she's doing just fine, because when you're a professional athlete like this, especially in a league like the WNBA, and Caitlin Clark, you're going to make more off of endorsements than you would off of your salary. But to give you guys, just to put some numbers on this, Caitlin Clark's rookie deal, she made $76,000 in 2024. That was her salary. Was $76,535 in 2024. The studies have shown that out of the $200 million that the WNBA generated in 2024, 56 million of that, over 26%, came because of Caitlin Clark. And so once again, like, these laughably low numbers that these players are getting paid, despite the revenue that Caitlin Clark in her specific position is generating. Yeah, right. So now you look at this like CBA, they're going to look at those numbers and go, all right, we should be getting double of what we've had. Like, even at a salary for Caitlin Clark of $150,000 is minuscule in comparison to what some other professional athletes get paid.
Yeah, I mean, and that is basically what we know about the NFL, NBA, where they got to go out there. When I say they, the NBA, the WNBA administrators basically have to go out there and find the sponsors that are out there. I mean, they're out there too, and you just got to ask them, and you got to just say, hey, look, we have a product, and it's gotten better over the years, year over year, and we've been around for a long time. So just pay our respects and basically give us what they need. And don't go at that way, but go business style where you have your spreadsheets, you have your numbers, you show like what you just talked about, Nick, and you got to give respect to these young ladies, and these coaches, these organizations that got created back in 1997, 1998, around that time. They put in their due diligence. They put in their hard work. For me, I'm kind of like, as a pro athlete, I'm like almost disgusted that it took this long for women athletes in all sports, not just basketball, but to get any type of credibility. When I watch a sport, I'm watching because I'm watching the better athletes that are out there. So when I watch a women's sports, I'm watching the best women that's playing football, baseball, basketball, whatever they're playing. And for them to be in 2025, almost 2026, to have to get their street cred is sickening to me as an athlete. So I kind of feel kind of like, this is something that should have been done a long time ago, even though it's taken this long. At least it's getting done, and I just hopefully it gets done right. And these companies got to get off their butt and stop saying to themselves, because I've heard my own teammates say stuff like, women's basketball, I can't sit there and watch it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You got daughters and you're saying that? It's like, this just doesn't make sense to me. So that part has to change. That's the part that changed. That's why these young ladies are not making the money. I'm just gonna call the elephant in the room, because that's what it is. It's like, you can't sit here and watch a woman play basketball. Like, what's wrong with you? Mm-hmm. You got to get over it. She's an athlete. She's better than you. She'll come and beat you on a basketball court. Then what? They earn it, give them what their dues are, and go from there pretty much.
I get that 100%, but there's also got to be the product to watch.
Right. And they're getting better every year. We got Juju Watkins that's about to be in the league in the next couple years.
That's the thing, is I think
we got athletes that are getting better and better from Caitlin on moving up. So it's there.
Yeah. I think a lot of this comes also exposure at the college level too. Like you have to
100%. Yep.
Think about it this way. If we want to equate this to the NBA is on one side of it and the NFL is on another side. College football is so accessible, and yes, it's obviously popular, and in no way am I trying to compare viewership numbers for college football compared to WNBA or this, that, and the third. But what I'm getting at is we have this connection to college football athletes, and it's very easy, very simple to make this connection to college football players. So then we're able to watch them go through their entire draft process. They get drafted by a team, and it's easier to follow them in their NFL time because we already knew who they were. Where with college, think about the NBA draft right now. If I go out on the street, even in an NBA town, and I say, okay, hey, tell me the top 10 picks that are projected for this year, we're not going to be able to say a whole lot of them unless you're an absolute fiend when it comes to NBA draft knowledge, because there's a lot of international flavor. There's a lot of guys that we just don't know because they're playing, whether that's in the G League, whether that's overseas. Maybe we know a couple of college guys that are potentially going to get drafted, but we don't. It's very difficult. Like I said, unless you do a deep dive on NBA draft knowledge, it's very difficult to know and stay up to date with that. And you look at the NBA now, and viewership is down dramatically in the NBA even. And so with the WNBA, you wonder, okay, why is viewership up? Sure, Caitlin Clark is as special of an athlete in women's basketball as we've seen in the last decade, or even in the entire history of the college game. Well, that plays a big factor into it, because not only are Iowa fans knowing who Caitlin Clark is, the entire college basketball world knows who Caitlin Clark is. To put a bow and go full circle on like her firmly being the face of the league for the WNBA, listen to some of these statistics USA Today pumped out at the end of the 2024 season, just to show you and illustrate the value of Caitlin Clark and what she is to the WNBA. Caitlin Clark responsible for 27.5% of the economic activity. Total viewership because of Caitlin Clark is up 300% in 2024. Merchandise sales rose 500%. And even this goes to the point of accessibility and knowing and just kind of viewership in college. She was obviously the number one jersey sale merchandise, producer, and Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese was second, right? Somebody that we also were aware of when she was playing in college as well. The Indiana Fever's regular season attendance was over 17,000 a game, which was over 100% in a jump. And then Clark's regular season games were watched by an average of 1.2 million viewers, which was a 200% increase. So it's once again, the statistics are out there for these teams and strictly the NBA, the WNBA, to understand, okay, this is our face of the league, and whether you want to protect her, but it's also a fine line, like you said, AG. So with that being said, guys, we have to put a pin in that one because we're up against the clock. Raff, go ahead and take us to break, my friend. We got history on the other side of this.
All right, we'll throw it to break. Just the drive, 93.7, The Ticket.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
In dealing with the high interest rates, it's very important that you get as much bang for the buck. And that's what our Remington Homes is all about.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com. Pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, whether you want painted trim or other upgrades. Those are all options with our Remington Homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at lincolnstars.com today before it sells out.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, in either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Are you buying a home? Westgate Bank understands that you need to make important decisions during your home buying journey. Our local lenders in Lincoln and Omaha make themselves available so you can get the information you need to know. Use our mobile mortgage app to manage your transaction from pre-qualification to closing, no matter where you are. Get the service and convenience you want from a local community bank, where our interest is you. Learn more and visit us online at westgate.bank. Westgate Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Now back to The Drive with AD, Raff, and Ahman Gray on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, everybody, we're back again. This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket. Before we get to history, I just have a report to make that Aaron Davis is alive and he's good to go in Phoenix, Arizona today. After yesterday's airport shenanigans, he went to the Orlando airport at 11 a.m. yesterday, and he flew out just before 9 o'clock last night.
It is absolutely insane. I was following along on social media, obviously, but man, that man had some hoops to jump through at the Orlando airport.
Oh, well, he caught what I went through. I went through the same thing. It was something between Atlanta and Orlando. So between Georgia and Florida, well, I'll say Florida between Florida and Texas, I had the same thing. I added up my hours. I was in total of 20 hours in the airport from last Thursday to last Saturday night. I counted. So I had 8 hours in the Houston airport before I left. I was supposed to get there at 3 p.m., 3:30 Central Standard Time, Eastern Time. I didn't land till 3:30 a.m. on Friday morning. When I left, when I got to the airport, it already said I was delayed an hour. So I got there early, got some food, and now my flight was supposed to leave at 3:30. Again, 3:30 Eastern Time. I didn't leave out until midnight going into Atlanta, and my connection was already gone. Even though I got on the plane, I didn't realize that when I took off. So I should have stayed in Orlando at my friend's house, and then caught the early flight, which was a straight shot to Houston, which would have got me to Houston the time I got there, instead of spending that in the Atlanta airport on the chair. Actually, I didn't even go to sleep. I just watched movies and played on my Switch.
That's ridiculous. Didn't we cover this yesterday, G? What did I tell you?
What did you tell me, Raff?
Take the.
I don't have that's the thing. I don't have to
deal with that.
I wish I did. Trust me, it would have went down.
Here is, before we get to history, this segment brought to you by Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services. Jack, a well-respected representative since 1999, and he can help you protect your home, your vehicle, your family, or even your future. Visit one of his 2 locations in either Lincoln or Seward today and give Jack Russell a call, 402-421-9100, to learn how Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services can help you protect what matters most. Guys, how about this piece of history here? 1911, gentlemen, the Detroit Tigers at one point trailed the Chicago White Sox in 1911 by a score of 13-1. But they come from behind and they win 16-15 for the largest comeback in baseball history. It was actually actually a 12-run comeback happened in 2005 between the Tigers and the Mariners. The Tigers came from behind and won in extra innings against the Mariners back in 2005. So both sides, both times in the largest comeback, were tied for the largest comeback in Major League Baseball history. 12 runs, and both of them were by the Detroit Tigers.
Nice.
There you have it. What you got today, Raffy?
Well, my history goes back to 1960. On this day, Arnold Palmer defeated Jack Nicklaus in the biggest comeback in U.S. Open history. He started out the day down 7 strokes. He ended up defeating Jack Nicklaus by 2 strokes to win the U.S. Open. And this tournament was held at Cherry Hills Country Club. You might recognize the name, in Denver, Colorado. And Cherry Hills Country Club is also famous because this is the restaurant where John Elway took Peyton Manning when he came to Denver on his free agency trips. And the night when he took Peyton Manning to Cherry Hills Country Club, this is classic fall classics. Peyton had jeans on, and at this country club, they don't allow jeans. So John Elway had to pay the $50 fine so Peyton could come in and have dinner that night because they said, no, you either pay the $50 or you're not coming in. So John decided it was worth it to pay the $50, and the rest was history.
You know what's funny, Raff, is I was obviously in Omaha yesterday. I was walking past Rocco's to get a gel. I didn't get a jello shot yesterday. I got one 2 days ago. But it was yesterday. I walked past Rocco's because where I parked, I had to walk pretty far ways, and I'm pretty sure I saw John Elway's doppelganger. I mean, this man he didn't have as many wrinkles, and that's exactly why I thought, okay, that must not be him. Wow. I almost walked up to him. I was almost like, you know what? Are you John Elway? And I was thinking about taking a picture with him. Was John Elway, just so I could send it to you and say, look who met John Elway before you met John Elway.
That would be the ultimate dagger to one's heart right there. The guy that's talked so much garbage on John Elway, and then you be the one that meets him, and then you guys become like best friends and golf buddies.
Yeah, Cherry Hills Country Club. I'm playing there next Saturday. If he's flying me out to Denver, we're playing there next Saturday. Actually, after everything, I don't know if I want to golf with John Elway and a golf cart, all of that whole thing. So I don't know if I want to do that.
Well, you're good to go because you don't have any jeans, so you're good to go.
That's right. I don't own a single pair of jeans. AG, what you got for us today, my friend?
Since I was at I went to a fighting game tournament down in Orlando. It was one of the biggest fighting game tournaments in the world. It was called the CEO since it was the biggest. So it's the big boss of fighting game tournaments. And so I'm going to talk about a fighting game here is Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. So Marvel versus Capcom before it became Marvel versus Capcom. Came out in 1997, 28 years ago. And it was on, I believe, Sega. And Sega was still around, I believe. PlayStation was around. Sega Saturn was out. So there you go. Fighting game.
Nice.
Nice job. So we had the Michael Jordans of Tekken and Street Fighter out there in Orlando. It was pretty dope.
We have a lot to talk about, guys. I'm sure maybe you guys talked about it yesterday. Obviously, I wasn't on the show with you guys yesterday, but Jet Tamala flipping to Alabama. So we'll talk about that in the 10 o'clock hour here. He flips his commitment from Iowa State to Alabama. Obviously, the Millard South High School product, going to be a member of the Crimson Tide. So we'll dive into that a little bit. CJ Bernal decommitted from the Huskers yesterday afternoon after a midweek visit to Florida State as well. So we got to talk about that. We'll talk and preview College World Series stuff that's going on later today and tonight. Kind of give you a look at the weather because it is pouring rain here in Lincoln, down here in downtown Lincoln. I'm not sure, obviously, what it's doing up in Omaha. Haven't looked at the radar for today, but it's not the College World Series without some rain delays and just some unique scheduling situations. And so we'll dive into all of that as well as the Stanley Cup playoffs here in the 10 o'clock hour, Raff.
All right, well, thoughts break. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Western Sand and Gravel is hiring for a variety of positions at their sand and gravel plants near Ashland. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Available positions include plant operators, dredge operators, and shop service technicians. They offer great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, paid holidays, and paid time off. No matter your experience level, on-the-job training is available to help you build a rewarding career with Western Sand and Gravel. Start your career today. Visit westernsand.com.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at LincolnStars.com today before it sells out.
Your Nebraska Lottery announces the 2025 NASCAR Powerball Playoff. And it's a great way to get on track for a chance to win $1,000. From May 27th to June 23rd, buy $2 of Powerball, enter the voucher number online, and you could be one of 20 winners of $1,000 and a chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Roar into any Nebraska Lottery retailer and buy $2 of Powerball today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
4th of July weekend is coming soon, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble your grill so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Welcome to The Drive with A.D. Raff and Ahman Green. Former Husker football national champion, speaker, and author, Aaron Davis.
Nebraska will win the national championship. The Cornhuskers beat Miami. It is history, 13-0. And bring that trophy back to Lincoln.
Former Arena Football League quarterback, former head coach of the Capital City Crush, and guru of Husker football history, Chris Raff.
25 straight wins for the Cornhuskers. One of the most dominating stretches in college football history.
We may have seen one of the best teams in the history of college football tonight.
12-year NFL veteran.
He's got some speed to go with strength.
Huskers and Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer.
Shovel pass to Green into Vikings territory. Finally brought down.
And University of Nebraska eSports coach, Ahman Green.
Look at Green all by himself. 20, 10, touchdown.
Sponsored by Doors Plus. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, everybody, we're back again. This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket. We're proudly sponsored by Doors Plus. If your garage door needs maintenance or need an entirely new garage door, give Cameron Hahn and his team a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus is locally owned and handles everything from residential or commercial garage doors, garage door openers, safety tune-ups, or custom design. Visit DoorsPlusLLC.com to learn more. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
There it is. Guys, let's start here. A little unfortunate news for Nebraska football yesterday. 4-star defensive back CJ Bernau decommits from the Huskers. He had been committed to Nebraska since November of 2024, so since November of last year. It was a pretty lengthy commitment, but it was also he's a guy that Nebraska was very early on. He was undervalued, I should say, underrated when Nebraska offered him. And then just like a lot of things, this happens a lot where a Power 5 school will offer a guy and then the recruiting services will take a little bit of a closer look at him and say, okay, you know what, maybe he should be a little higher on our boards. That kind of was the case with CJ Bernau, a guy that goes to Windermere High School in the state of Florida, very close to, in proximity to Florida State down there in Tallahassee. And that is, I think, right now the school to beat for CJ Bernau. He had visited Nebraska a couple of times, just coming off of a visit to Nebraska, I believe, last weekend. And coming out of the visit, he had told kind of just some insiders and things like that, hey, I'm still pretty strongly committed to Nebraska going forward. But then he ends up taking a visit to Florida State, another visit to Florida State yesterday or earlier this week. And last night, Hayes Fawcett of On3 and that entire organization kind of broke it that CJ Bernau decommitted from the Nebraska football team. And so a big loss. Nebraska loses their highest rated recruit out of the 2026 recruiting class. But it looks like a guy that holds over 30 offers to Division I schools. Just an opportunity to play closer to home. And also, let's not forget this part. A lot of Nebraska's defensive staff that he committed to last November is now at Florida State. And so you put 2 and 2 together there, and Raff AG, that's it's not surprising to see this one. I wouldn't say that the writing was on the wall, but this was certainly a concern, going back the last 5 months or so.
Yeah, I mean, as a coaching staff, you would know that, once that staff, the few members that left from Nebraska and went to FSU, there would be a possibility of this, and here's the possibility happening. And so now that's why you recruit more players. You make sure you recruit more than one position or one and more player at each position just to cover things like this happening. This is, recruiting battles one-on-one. This is how things go. You go to another school, that staff left, they go to another D1, Power 1, D1 there. They're able to reach out and still have a conversation with the athlete. And so in early commits, that's where if I'm a coach, I'm happy. If it's an early commit, yeah, I'm glad I got you on now. Fantastic. Here's information. Here's what we're going to be running this season, this, that, and the other. But still knowing, hey, it's a long way off to your own campus. So always in the back of my mind, I'm going to know that unfortunately, their mindset could switch, or something could influence them to switch between now and them getting on my campus when I definitely got them, on the roster. So we know this is coming, potentially coming, when any recruiting battles out there going on.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because as I've kind of read tea leaves and things like that, it actually looks like, potentially Florida might also have a leg up on there. So it's, whether I would imagine that CJ Bernau will commit relatively quickly here, and it's going to be between Florida or Florida State, just an opportunity to play closer to home. Like you said, AG. I think though, Raff, like when you look at Nebraska, you have to still trust in your recruiting process, because obviously you evaluated pretty successfully and pretty well when it comes to CJ Bernau. And when you look at the legwork, like this is where I caution Husker fans to not jump on and be like, wow, what's a commitment mean nowadays and things like that, because at the end of the day, this is not me downplaying the situation, because I'll sit here until I'm blue in the face and say, yeah, you'd rather have a player like CJ Bernau stay committed and be a Husker at the end of the day, rather than him decommit and you have to go in another direction. But this is now, I mean, we have to get used to this type of thing. And we have to stop putting so much stock into acting like these like 4-star recruits are the saviors of programs. Like that's just, you're going to drive yourself crazy as a fan base. And so I think, though, when you look at Nebraska's process, obviously you have faith and you're excited about, hey, this is a guy that obviously they evaluated well very early in the cycle. And from a legwork standpoint, you did everything you could. Like at sometimes you can give the best effort, the best pitch, you can give them the best opportunity. And at the end of the day, it just might not be enough. But you have to be able to go back to the drawing board and say, whatever we did worked, just not with this specific guy.
Right. Yeah. And at the end of the day, too, you look at it like this. Like, yeah, it hurts that, he decommitted. However, you keep the lines of communication open because with today's college football, you never know what's going to happen. However, I also see it like this. Though he decommitted, he was committed to Nebraska for 8 months. So not only was he committed, he was probably wearing Nebraska things. He was probably talking about Nebraska, talking about the coaches. The Nebraska coaches got a chance to probably meet his high school coaches, meet some of the players on his team. And so that word of Nebraska, even though he did not commit to Nebraska, but for 8 months, we were able to make inroads, with more coaches in Florida, probably with more, because I'm guessing he probably played in some 7-on-7 tournaments, probably talked about the Nebraska coaches, talked about the facilities in Nebraska. So I look at it as like, in a way that he promoted Nebraska for 8 months, and that's 8 months more than what we would not have had if he would not have been committed. So I try to stay positive in that fact.
Yeah, you had some unpaid marketing, basically.
Exactly.
for the 8 months. And I agree with you, Raff, there. That can happen. When the player, first in his first commitment, in those first months, he's all praising Nebraska. And through that time, it's just, close to the end of when he decommitted is where somebody else got in his ear. But for those first 3-4 months, he was praising all Nebraska. So that can influence other athletes around them, other coaches to inquisitive about what Nebraska is doing, since the program is changing over the last several years since Matt Rule's taken over.
I saw a lot of social media outbursts regarding the commitment and how, commitments mean nothing nowadays. And it feels like we go through the same like regurgitating cycle every time somebody decommits from Nebraska, and every fan base does it. This is not me just saying that Nebraska is alone, because every fan base does it of like, man, what does a commitment mean nowadays? Don't even say you commit if you're not going to be truly committed, this, that, and the other. So I would ask the text line this, like 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys. Like we made a big deal as fans a couple of years ago because over the last, I would say like since 2015, so maybe the last decade, like recruiting has been much easier to follow because it's much more accessible. The rankings are much more accessible. You know when guys are taking visits and things like that. Like, are we still in the mindset of we don't want guys that are committed to Nebraska to ever take other visits? Like, because do you guys remember those conversations a couple of years ago where it was like, how dare a staff, whether it's Nebraska staff or somebody else, go, all right, well, you're committed to us, don't take other visits. Like, don't go see other schools, because
no, you got to welcome that.
Yeah, right. Like, I think that you have to say, go ahead, because if Nebraska is doing the things that they are doing, and it's the right things, they're being transparent, they're confident in their approach and their ability to recruit, and they're given a good enough pitch to come to Nebraska. Yep. You should have confidence in saying, go ahead, go look at Iowa State, go look at Kansas State, because at the end of the day, we have faith that we're the best spot for you, and you just have to believe it too.
Yeah, because when you do that, you're showing weakness. Exactly. You're showing something weak in your game, in your pitch to the athlete. And some athletes will detect that. I know I was one. I didn't have no college to say don't go anywhere. I did have one college say, can you commit to us prior to your visit? And I'm like, huh? I was like, I haven't kicked the tires yet. I haven't been to campus yet. I haven't met your coaches in person or my former teammates in person. And I was like, I got off the phone with them, called my dad, talked to my dad. And he's like, nah. He said, you know what? Don't even go there. Don't even take your visit, because they're going to make you look like the bad guy if you decommit.
Yeah.
If you go somewhere where you liked better than that school. And so I did basically call them the next day, say, you know what? I'm not coming out. I just won't come visit there. I'll just take my 4 of my 5 visits. that I did take. So went from there.
Which now, obviously, AG, there's unlimited official visits.
See, I didn't. Oh, that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And that was Penn State. It was Penn State back then. They wanted me to commit verbally before I took my visit, when no other school, Nebraska did not ask that, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Arizona did not ask that. And so I was like, it was interesting. So
this shows my youth. Who was the coach at Penn State? Would that have been Paterno?
Yep, that would have been Paterno.
I was just
and Matt Rule was a player then as well. He was a linebacker. A couple of my teammates, Marco Rivera, played with Matt, and trying to think one more person. Dang it, I can't think of the other player, but Marco Rivera was a part of that roster as well with Matt Rule.
So I got. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. A couple thoughts from the text line. Just real quick to make sure we get them heard. So Big B says they need to go visit other schools. It's in their best interest. If you lose somebody, maybe look at why you lost somebody. And if you gain somebody from another school, look at the why there as well. Derek in a car says, I'm less worried about losing an early commitment than I am about whether or not our coaches and strength staff, can coach them and build them up. Good combo, fellas. That's why we pay the coaches millions. Old Dad 34 says, let the kids be kids and take official visits. And so go ahead, Raff. I wanted to make sure we got to this couple texts on the text line.
All good. I was going to ask you guys, so do you think a school gets a little bit worried inviting somebody to an official visit when they're already committed to a school? Like, I was thinking to myself, like, say Trey Taylor, for instance, I'm assuming he'll probably take some official visits to other schools, but he's pretty strongly committed to Nebraska. If you're the school, are you worried about inviting him on an official visit? Just the fact that he might run into a receiver he might like and be like, hey, maybe Nebraska might be the place for you, kind of like a little subterfuge.
Hey, it's part of the game.
I would say, doesn't that happen already?
Yeah, that's part of the game. Yeah.
Think about that way to where, I mean, here's the thing is I talked to Adam about this yesterday on the show. There's a 4-star tight end, Luke Sorensen, who's committing on Friday, who Nebraska fans should feel pretty good about their chances at getting Luke Sorensen on Friday. No relation to Jake, thankfully, right? The athleticism is at a new, a much higher.
I was going to ask that question, but okay.
Higher level for Luke than it was, for any relation to Jake.
Let's go right there.
What I'm saying is, here's the thing, though. So, like, there was another recruit that basically posted a photo on Instagram of another school. And you know how the recruits do it nowadays. They put the little home emoji with all the question marks and like, is this home? Not hashtag not committed and like all this. And Luke Sorensen's in the comments going, come on, man, you know where home is. And then put like a corn cob emoji. And so like, it's like that thing happens. You look back at the Addison, what's Addison from the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver that transferred from Pitt. It starts with a Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison. Anyways, Jordan Addison, the whole Caleb Williams goes to USC, and darn well that there's conversations between the players and Jordan Addison saying, hey, USC can't contact you, but I can. And you have the stuff going on with Texas Tech's collective and all the softball players communicating because that's the legal loophole that you have. It happens whether you're a recruit, whether you're in college, or whether you're after college. I mean, so I think if you're a program, Raff, you can't operate. I think that's a dangerous way to operate of going in fear almost.
No, you can't.
I was just saying that, like, if you invite a guy that's already, pretty stoutly committed to Nebraska, I think you're kind of taking a little bit of a risk there. Like, ooh, if he comes in and finds a receiver that he likes, and it's like, well, maybe Nebraska,
And maybe Trey doesn't take any visits.
Yeah, I love the wild world that we live in, and I mean, this is probably the one part of football that I kind of like now. It's just the craziness of it all. I mean, from the outside looking in, I mean, and then I also like with Nebraska also, with CJ decommitting, I would assume that there's probably a room down there in the new Osborne's complex down there, and it has like a draft board, and it has names of a bunch of kids throughout the country, and I'm 100%. Guessing there's probably a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. I mean, so I'm assuming they take his name off the board, put him in like the okay, maybe not for now pile, and then you got your whole new list that you go to. So it doesn't surprise anybody. Like you said, with today's college football, it stings, but you move on.
Yeah, it's a quick sting. Recruiting is something where you basically find out how good your game is and your pitch to the athletes coming in, no matter the sport. And now as part of, along with your pitch, is your collective, how strong your collective is.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that are in your court as a coach, as an administrator, recruiting, a GM, whoever's doing most of the recruiting, and as you said, Raff, there's a draft boards or recruit boards. So NFL wise, when I went to draft this year, I got a tour of their draft room. Just imagine, you see my room right behind me, just triple the size. And there was names from the bottom of the floor to the top of the ceiling of players going to get drafted, potential, right, to the Packers, in linemen, linebackers, wide receivers, quarterbacks. So I'm pretty sure the same is for college, high school recruits all over there, from 1-star all the way to 5-star plus, if it's anything like that. They're going to have that. And at the end of the day, if you're recruiting, hey, you know what? I'm going to give them my best pitch when they come to our campus, when they come to a game, whenever that is, and let the dust settle where it may, and let's see what happens. Make sure we give them our best to give them the feeling of this is going to be the spot for them when they come play ball, basketball, football, baseball, track, whatever. Let's give them our best, and so they can see that and feel that. I say the biggest thing, a recruit got to feel that, because that was the big thing for me. I had to feel myself in a role at Nebraska, at Notre Dame, at Michigan, at Arizona. Once I felt it, and it came down to my last two was Arizona, Nebraska, and Nebraska just edging it out, knowing that I have family here, watching that game, and doing the process that I went through. It was a tough process, but I'm glad I went through it, because I knew that Nebraska was eventually the spot for me, regardless of my family being here. It was that helped, but then also I was around the guys in that locker room and the coaching staff that was we were all aligned on the same page. I wanted to come here and play right away and help that team go to another national title, and that's what happened my freshman year. So when you get a player like that does commit and is all in, then you may have those results potentially.
I can promise you that the Nebraska's got recruiting boards, because when I play EA Sports College Football 25, that they have a recruiting board feature, and I got hundreds of names.
100%. It's in the game. It's in the game. Y'all already know what EA says. So
if it's in the game, it's going down on one's Memorial Stadium Drive or whatever
yes,
address it is, 3 blocks north of us here at 1040 O Street.
And that's a little hack for everybody listening. If you play any esports game, if it's in that game, it's like they're hiding it right in front of you of what goes on in NCAA, in the pro leagues. Whatever happens in franchise mode is what happens in real life. So just let y'all know.
All I'm saying is I'm just waiting for the rev sharing opportunity and the NIL collectives to come into the EA Sports College Football game coming up in the next couple of years. Anyway, guys, I feel like this is a good spot to put a pin in it. We can talk Jet Tamala when we come back right at the start. I also think we need to get to the Stanley Cup playoffs a little bit. Even if you didn't watch the game, there was a moment at 3-0 yesterday where the Florida Panthers were up 3-0. They defeat the Edmonton Oilers for the second year in a row in the Stanley Cup playoffs last night. So they hoist the trophy once again. One of the best postseasons to just from a spectator standpoint. If playoff hockey is a blast to watch. I say it every single year, but for the 33rd consecutive year, the Stanley Cup trophy is staying in the United States. A team from Canada has not won the Stanley Cup playoffs. They've had teams there, whether it's Toronto, whether it's now Edmonton for 2 years in a row. They've had teams there, have not been able to overcome the mountaintop. And so we'll talk a little Jet Tamala. We'll talk a little Stanley Cup playoffs as well. Because I think there's some notable pieces and statistics there here in the second segment of the 10 o'clock hour. But yeah, really good stuff. CJ Bernau decommits from Nebraska. I would imagine that Florida is kind of the team to watch there. Florida State, pretty evenly matched between those two schools. Just couldn't pass up an opportunity to stay closer to home, CJ Bernau. So Nebraska loses a 4-star defensive back. But as we just mentioned, recruiting boards are a thing, and I think Nebraska is going to be A-okay. Going forward. Raffy, take us away, my friend.
All right, we'll throw the break. The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
You've heard the phrase bigger is better. Hello, this is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. As applied to family law firms, this phrase can be misleading. Yes, it's true that more resources, proven processes, a wealth of shared experience and expertise, these are all good things. But it's also true that being local has its advantages for a law firm. Familiarity with judges, with local experts, opposing counsel, even the local rules and practices. So if you're a guy confronting a family law matter, you should be thinking right now, I need all the above. I need big and local. In that case, call Cordell & Cordell, a national law firm comprised of local offices with local attorneys who practice in local courts. Remember, for over 35 years, we've been the partner that you can count on.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys. 402-858-3220. CordellCordell.com. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Your Nebraska Lottery announces the 2025 NASCAR Powerball Playoff. And it's a great way to get on track for a chance to win $1,000. From May 27th to June 23rd, buy $2 of Powerball, enter the voucher number online, and you could be one of 20 winners of $1,000 and a chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Roar into any Nebraska Lottery retailer and buy $2 of Powerball today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today. Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at lincolnstars.com today before it sells out.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
in dealing with the high interest rates, it's very important that you get as much bang for the buck. And that's what our Remington Homes is all about.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, whether you want painted trim or other upgrades. Those are all options with our Remington Homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with an afternoon high near 82. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds, low around 62. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to The Drive with AD, Raff, and Ahman Green on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, everybody, we're back again. This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket. It is Wednesday, rolling right through the week. Alabama got a new quarterback commit, I see.
They did, and it comes in the form of Millard South High School's Jet Tamala. Tamala was previously committed to Iowa State, got an Alabama offer a few weeks back, and it was one of those things where I had to ask around and be, okay, is this an offer just to say, hey, I have an Alabama offer, or is this thing committable? And it has been committable since the start, and so it kind of gave the impression that, okay, you know what, Alabama truly feels like, Jet Tamala is a guy that can help him out, or at least is important enough from the get-go to when they offered him to provide him a committable offer and so forth. And so ultimately, though, Nebraska never offered. There was never real conversation between Jet Tamala and Nebraska. There was, how should I say this? There were conversations early in his high school career, and based on those conversations and the way those kind of conversations went, you just kind of had a feeling that, okay, you know what, it's just not going to be a relationship that will end up being fruitful. And so it happens. It's nothing bizarre, but I just think that, maybe we're making a little bit too much out of it that Nebraska never offered. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Nebraska high school football, it looks good that they're sending a guy to a program like Alabama.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch his progression also. I mean, if you look back a year and a half ago, I mean, there were really no, top D1 offers on the table whatsoever. Yeah. And now you look at it, he was garnering, from Michigan, Alabama. He had, a lot of the top places in the country that he'd garnered that. So that just tells you that you're not locked in. Like if you're given a grade, at the beginning of your junior year, it just shows you that, you can work, you can grind, you can go to these camps. I've been saying it for, years now, but if you go to that Warren Academy up in Omaha, John Teaglin, the quarterback's coach up there, I mean, he's putting guys out there. I mean, you just look at the people that he's put out over the last, 3 or 4 years, and it just continues to go that way. So it's cool. It's cool to see Nebraska quarterbacks, and Nebraska football in general, just getting players out there. I mean, it's nice when they come to Nebraska, but just seeing them going to top D1 schools, seeing them going, going and playing football, continuing their football careers. It's really cool to see.
No, it's definitely awesome because it definitely shows the talent that's here in the state. And then now they could go out and I say bloom where they want it. And so it's pretty cool to see this. For me, it's just the first time hearing about him, but looks like a good sized kid, 6'3", 205. He definitely will grow more wherever campus. If he does stay committed to Alabama, then he'll definitely get some weight on him and be in a pro style offense that'll get him ready for the NFL for sure.
And he was previously committed to Iowa State. He was actively committed to Iowa State when he took a visit to down to Tuscaloosa and ends up flipping yesterday morning officially. I just think that with Jet Tamal, you mentioned the Warren Academy, and there's going to be a quarterback in 2027 in Braylon Warren who is going to certainly draw national attention. He already is and stuff. He's got multiple camps. He went down to a 5-star camp down in Texas, and there's a lot of Ohio State came to town to visit Braylon Warren at one point. So there's going to be, that's going to be 2 straight cycles in 2026 and then in 2027 to where Nebraska, the preps landscape will have a quarterback that will choose a top tier program. And so but now from a Nebraska side, you control what you can control, and what Nebraska is choosing, willingly choosing, and this is fine, is they're going outside of the state to grab a quarterback, and they did so in 2025 with TJ Lateef. They did so in 26 now with Dayton Raiola as their quarterback in that class, and then obviously with Trey Taylor in 2027's class. And so if it all works out as planned, then guess what? We're going to sit here and say, yeah, there's no concern. We're all good with it, right? Now, for Nebraska coaching's sake and for Matt Rule's sake, I hope it all does work out. Because if it does not, then you know what the first critique is going to be when we look back on this 3-year cycle is it's going to be there were 2 guys right down the road that were high level recruits and you just passed them up. And so hindsight's always going to be 2020. You have to do what you think is best, and Nebraska's staff right now feels like, okay, what was best for Nebraska is to go out and get a high school quarterback commit for 4 consecutive classes. Going back to Dylan Raiola, obviously in 24, but this is now they have, and they're already recruiting 2028 quarterbacks, and so their plan, it appears in this evolving and always fluid college football world, is that we're going to bring in a high school quarterback every single recruiting class, because then if one leaves, we have another experienced guy that's ready to take the reins and another underclassman guy that's ready to kind of step in and fill that void of kind of a role player and as that developmental piece. And so whatever happens with Dayton, with TJ Lateef, who I really like, I love TJ Lateef, guys. But whether it's TJ Lateef, Dayton Raiola, or Trey Taylor, we'll see what kind of how it all unfolds in the next coming couple of years.
That's the fun part. That's the fandom part of it. You have these recruits where they grow in any state, right? Because even for the quarterbacks coming from other states, I'm pretty sure their city, their town, their state is saying the same thing. Like, why they didn't go to Illinois or Northern Illinois, things of that nature for Trey Taylor's side of it. So it's everywhere. And so this is, like I said, this is part of recruiting, and this is the fun part of how you make sure, like I mentioned already, you make sure your pitch is strong to the player, and you get them to understand what's going on here at whatever campus you're recruiting to. So for Nebraska, they make sure they understand what's going on campus, what the process is to become a starter, know the play scheme in terms of what is going to benefit them. If they're a running quarterback to a more better thrower than runner, stuff like that, they'll find that out, and that's what they gotta. Then the player, the athlete themselves, then make the decision, and that is once they get all the information that is given to them from each college that is recruiting them.
That's one thing I will say also is I made a point yesterday with Carricker about you don't hear Nebraska fans in the Nebraska football program should kind of get used to, and hopefully because this is indicative of where Nebraska high school football is going, is the more guys that are good enough, quote unquote good enough to go to high D1 programs, just from a sheer number standpoint and realistic approach, they're going to go outside of the state. They're just going to leave, and that's fine. But in Georgia Tech, those teams deal with it every year because there's just an excess of talent that number one, either there's not enough spots for Georgia, but also Georgia has to maintain relationships outside of the state. It cannot just be this like 150-mile radius around the state of Nebraska and just be like, this is how we're going to build a powerhouse. It's just not realistic anymore. And so, sure, you can add bits and pieces of it, but the better that Nebraska high school football gets, the more likely that there is that Nebraska misses out on a couple of top tier guys. Now, it's fine. It's fine if you're still winning games. People question your recruiting approach if you start losing games. And Nebraska, unfortunately, hasn't been on the right side of things there, Raff.
Yeah, and then also you got to go back to what we were talking about last segment, the recruiting room with all the names on the board and stuff like that. So one thing that I noticed about Jet Tamala was I don't think Nebraska really heavily recruited him. Like you said, there were some talks, but it wasn't. So what that tells me is the coaches, Dana Holgerson, they sat down. They want to win. Don't get me wrong. And I doubt that on those names on the board that say quarterbacks that we want to go out and get, there isn't like a little star saying this guy's from Nebraska. They rate them in the way they want, the way what they're looking for, their needs, their offense, and what they want. And it just happened to be that like Dayton Raiola, was ahead of Tamala.
I think yeah, it's important also to note, just for transparency and context purposes, it's important to note Nebraska's had some offensive staff changes as well, right? Like Marcus Satterfield at one point a few years ago was the offensive coordinator in Nebraska. Right when they got here, they didn't have a quarterback's coach until Glenn Thomas came before last season. And so it's important to remember those things of early in Jet Tamala's recruitment. There were different people in the room, and some of those people are still there. Some of them are not. You remember that when in Matt Rule's first year, they had Jeff Sims was a part of that room, and the identifying and evaluation of talent there, and Marcus Satterfield initially wasn't supposed to be the quarterback's coach and ends up being the quarterback's coach in year one. And so like there are a couple of other things there that it's important through these conversations. That sure, Dana Holgerson right now could go down the street and talk to Jet Tamala, but there is other things that have taken place in the last couple of years with different coaches that still play a factor into the way Jet views Nebraska and the way Nebraska views Jet. And that's just the way that recruiting is, because recruiting, college football, the way people run programs, it's so fluid and it can change day to day. So I just think that it's important to consider all the factors there, rather than just jump. And this is obviously not what you guys were doing, but I'm saying just instead of just jumping on it and saying, oh, it's a Nebraska guy, how dare he not want to go to Nebraska?
Oh, no. I'm just saying that there's nothing in the coaching on the recruiting room that says he's from Nebraska, so we have to put an emphasis on him. I mean, the one that's going to be interesting is the one 2 years down the road. I mean, Nebraskans right now, they are in love with Trey Taylor. Trey Taylor's in love with Nebraska. But then you have Braylon Warren, who's a legacy, who's rising up. So are Nebraskans going to automatically be like, well, sorry, Trey, but Steve Warren was a Husker, so we got to, so that it's always fun to watch that. And I guarantee you the coaches don't have that. They have just, okay, who's going to fit best in our system? Who can give us the best chance to win? There's nothing saying, there's no star next to Braylon Warren's name saying, oh, his dad played for Nebraska.
Yeah. It's our last day at Blur events later today. We're excited to close out the day up there in Omaha. We cannot thank Eric, Stacy, the entire team. Shout out to McCray, Alex, Reagan. That their entire team is incredible up there in Omaha for what they allow us to come and do and be a part of. They had over 1,000 people in their tailgate yesterday. I mean, they are not the official tailgate spot of LSU folks, but earlier this week they were the spot for LSU alumni before and after the game. As you can imagine, LSU fans pretty rowdy, but Blur Events able to tame the Tiger fans a little bit and give them a safe spot to party before and after LSU's games. And so it's an exciting couple of days. They get a well-deserved day off. Blur Events does tomorrow. They will be open on Saturday, though. So if you're going to be in Omaha for the National Championship Series Game 1 on Saturday, get your tickets now, blurevents.com. Shout out once again, Eric, Stacy, their entire team. We have one-on-one with DP coming up at 11 o'clock. But first, we got to close out the show. So go ahead and send us to break, Raffy.
All right, well, it's to break. Just The Drive, 93.7, The Ticket.
Your Nebraska Lottery announces the 2025 NASCAR Powerball Playoff. And it's a great way to get on track for a chance to win $1,000. From May 27th to June 23rd, buy $2 of Powerball, enter the voucher number online, and you could be one of 20 winners of $1,000 and a chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Roar into any Nebraska Lottery retailer and buy $2 of Powerball today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
4th of July weekend is coming soon, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble your grill so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more. RC's Boxing presents this Saturday at the Complex amateur fights with a little bare-knuckle bite. Some of Nebraska's best amateur boxing, along with a professional bare-knuckle bout between Jack Lawless Frericks and Jake Palmer, and a kickboxing bout between Demorio Dennis and Eric Murray Jr. Go get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream this event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. and first bout is at 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks. And grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
In dealing with the high interest rates, it's very important that you get as much bang for the buck. And that's what our Remington Homes is all about.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, whether you want painted trim or other upgrades. Those are all options with our Remington Homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket. Every Saturday morning now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with an afternoon high near 82. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds, low around 62. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to The Drive with AD, Raff, and Ahman Green on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Everybody, we're back again. This is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket. It is Wednesday, wrapping up another fun and exciting show. Nick, what's on tap for your day?
Oh, gotta go back up to Omaha. Get to go back up to Omaha, I should say, because it's a big day in the College World Series. Obviously, you know it. Louisville and Coastal Carolina at 1 o'clock. Arkansas, LSU later on tonight. We're gonna find out if we get some baseball on Thursday. Friday's going to be an off day, but Thursday we'll find out if we get baseball on Thursday. Because if Louisville is able to beat Coastal Carolina today, they will have to play one more tomorrow. If Coastal Carolina wins, they automatically make it to the championship series that starts on Saturday. Same story for Arkansas, LSU. Arkansas has got to beat the Bayou Bengals twice here in the next 2 days to make it to the championship series. However, I will say this, like, Arkansas is in a spot right now that not a lot of one-loss teams are accustomed to being in. And what I mean by that is they had to go through a couple of arms in day one against LSU because Zach Root got pulled with one out in the second inning, just made it through an inning and a third in game one. But then the way that Gage Wood was able to come back and eat up 9 innings. Yeah, the no-hitter's great, but his ability to eat up all 9 innings saves pieces in that bullpen. Yep. And then Arkansas with a pretty comfortable advantage going into the 9th inning last night. They brought in McIntyre out of the bullpen to kind of close things down, but they were able to stretch some guys out yesterday, and that only sets them up pretty well for pitching wise. Sure, LSU is going to have the advantage just because they've played fewer games, but it sets Arkansas up to actually be competitive, right? Like we talk about it with Nebraska a lot. In the Big Ten Conference, or in the Big Ten tournament, right, it's pitching, right? Can you find guys to just step up and eat innings? And so far, Arkansas has been able to do that. And so that's why I do think Arkansas actually has a chance to beat LSU. I keep counting Louisville out, guys, but they keep on showing up and they keep on grinding out victories. So who knows what's going to happen today between the Chanticleers and the Cardinals here at 1 o'clock. But yeah, so Louisville's got to beat Coastal twice. And Arkansas needs to beat LSU twice. But if the other two teams, Coastal and LSU, just win one of their games, then that's your championship matchup for this weekend. So it'll be great to see what happens down at Omaha. But once again, blurevents.com. Guys, any real quick thoughts on the Stanley Cup playoffs? We haven't talked about those yet. But 4 of your last 6 Stanley Cup champions have come from the state of Florida. 2 times it was the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2 times now the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers go back-to-back. They beat the Edmonton Oilers last night in Game 6. They beat the Oilers last year in Game 7. And so here you have it. Not a cold weather state by any means, but the state of Florida, hockey state, with 4 of your last 6 Stanley Cup champions coming from that state.
Yeah, it's just interesting because watching the whole process of it, once the series started, it just, you knew Edmonton had the look in their eye of like, oh my God, we got to deal with these guys again. So from the jump, the start of this series was that kind of, they were projecting that. So hopefully, I was hoping that they could, be, they're the underdogs, obviously, but come out of that and learn the lesson of, how to basically get past a big hill. And this Florida Panther team is that big hill. And so they were there. The battles were fun to watch. I mean, a lot of this stuff, they went to overtime, I think at least one time. And the way the series went, it just, you figure, like at one point in the series, I thought they had a shot, but then Florida just knew how to get back into the game. If they were down, they knew how to fight back. And I think that's the learning lesson for Edmonton Oilers players and coaching staff. They got to learn that drive. They're down, they're beat up. It doesn't matter. We're going to have to figure a way out to get this victory. I say that's the learning lesson in this series for the Edmonton Oilers, even though now it sucks. They got to wait a whole another year to get back to this point, potentially to face Florida or Tampa, whoever might be the Florida team down there ready for the championship series. But like I said, learning lesson and looking forward to get better into their next season.
Well, and I think a big difference in this game or in this series between the two was, so you had it was Sergei Bobrovsky in net for the Florida Panthers. Sergei Bobrovsky. He allowed 1.9 goals a game in this Stanley Cup Finals series, where for the Oilers, they actually they switched back and forth. They did not have consistent goaltending play this entire postseason, really. And that was a big part. That was a big reason why Florida was able to have success yesterday. They have a couple of guys that one had a hat trick yesterday. One was an empty netter because Edmonton pulled their goalie with about 7 minutes left in the third period, down 3-0. And I believe it was Bouchard that hit one from the blue line to go up 4-0. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have it to where Florida wins it for the second year in a row, and we'll see what happens, because on the other side for Edmonton, they have their franchise player in Connor McDavid and still looking for that first Stanley Cup. All right, Raff, real quickly, what you got for RGT today, my friend?
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's Good Take has to go out to Blurry Vince. Nick, you talked about them, how great they've been, just how much fun. Every time I see pictures, videos, anything, it's Nick throwing what's that?
The cornhole?
Horseshoes, cornhole, playing darts. I mean, Mike the Tiger outside. Blurry Vince, from football to baseball, all the events they do, always a great time. So Blurry Vince, you guys are Raff's Good Take.
There you go. Raffy, we got 45 seconds left. AD is back tomorrow. AG, appreciate you as always for tapping in. But AD is back tomorrow. So we got the whole crew back tomorrow here in Lincoln. Enjoy the College World Series. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a blast today. To the 250 people watching on the streams, we appreciate you guys as always. We appreciate the folks that tap in through the FM dial, through the mobile app, and wherever you get your 93.7 The Ticket content. It's our last day from the Blur Events tailgate for the College World Series in here in 2025. Make sure you stick around. One-on-one with DP's coming up next. Raff, take us home, my friend.
Everyone, be nice to each other. Have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, 1221 N Street,